Hey everybody, Ron Burke, Editor-in-Chief for Gamingtrend.com. Today we're going to take a look at the Pixy from EMEET. It is a webcam replacement PTZ camera, which is to say it does pan, tilt, and zoom. We're going to look at the different features that are available in the software. This is not meant to replace my written review. You can read the entire thing at Gamingtrend.com. Without further ado, let's take a look at the software. Right now you're listening to the audio mode that's listed as original sound mode. Now obviously that's not great. I know it's kind of tinny. So we're going to switch to the other modes. The other two modes are live mode and noise cancellation, and these are supposed to be AI powered. They're supposed to help clean up the audio. I'm going to go ahead and put those on, and then I'm going to switch one last mode on, and let's see if we can clean this up. So live mode is going to sound like this. I'll leave it up to you if you can determine if it's better or worse. From what I've gathered, it's louder. I don't know that it's better. Noise cancellation mode is this mode right here. So this is supposed to be the big AI powered mode that's supposed to clean up your audio and make it all sound good. 100% up to you to determine if you believe that to be true. I'm going to go ahead and put this back into, actually I'm going to leave it in noise cancellation mode. This is as good as it gets in a completely open environment. This is just my office. There's no noise baffling here, so this is pretty much what you would have in your own office more than likely, so probably what you're going to get. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn on NVIDIA's AI and see if it can clean this up even further. Now we have NVIDIA's broadcast. As you can hear, the microphone is the microphone. I would heartily recommend that you use an external microphone if you intend to use this as your video device. It is going to improve on pretty much any laptop camera and audio solution. It's just still going to sound a little tinny. At least the AI mode, with or without NVIDIA's help, does sound better. I just leave it to you whether or not that's good enough for professional. I'm going to switch to this camera, this microphone, so you can hear me more clearly, no matter how much I stammer. Went ahead and switched to an AverMedia microphone. It's about a $100 microphone, just for a frame of reference. Obviously not reviewing that, but I wanted you to know at least the cost of what a better audio solution would be. So heading over here to the controls on the camera, you can see we have pan, tilt, zoom, which, I mean, it's kind of jerky. So it's up to you whether you want to do that a lot during a call. Probably not. You have the ability to designate some positions if you like a particular position more than others. Wow, that's really jerky. All right. If you have a position that you want it to return to, you can designate up to 3 of them. This does also support a tracking mode. So tracking mode is going to allow me to move around my office. I feel sorry for anybody who has to watch me in this mode because I tend to pace during conference calls. So we're going to put that back on standard mode, but it does have the option for you to be able to do that. There's also a gesture mode where you can have it zoom in and out. Entirely up to you. If you want to use that, you can disable it as well if you're worried about, if you're the kind that talks to your hands and then suddenly you've lost tracking on the camera or it's moved around. This at least lets you control that. Down here at the bottom you have your different filters. We're on the default. There are a number of modes. This is bright. This is sepia or something like that, or nostalgia. Blues, bold, vivid, and then customize. All this does is give you the same controls that you would have if you went into your camera in Windows. You would be able to adjust all these different modes to get different tones and color. Right now we're on the default just because I want you to see what the default looks like. No special lighting in here, no ring light. This is just a yellowish tinted overhead light that's inside the bulbs that are inside my fan. So nothing special going on there. Assistance, you can adjust the focus. So you can have it focus on your face, or you can designate an object and have it lock in on that object. Same thing with focus. You can have it either autofocus, or you can have it lock in on a specific item and stay focused. So if you want it to not move, even if you do, you can do that. So if you have something like on a desk and you're trying to showcase it and you don't want the camera's focus to change if your hands move into the space, that's the way to do that. Additionally, this does have a number of resolutions. You can see here we're at 4K 30. It also supports 2K 30, 1080p 60, 1080p 30, and 720p 30. I'm not sure when you would want to use 1080p 30 versus 1080p 60. Seems like you would probably want the higher frame rate all the time, but I guess if you were shooting multiple cameras, which this does support, and you wanted those to match, maybe that's the idea. You can rotate if you wanted to be able to shoot this vertically for other formats. You can do that in both directions. You can also flip it horizontally or flip it vertically. Why would you want to do that? Because this camera can be mounted pretty much anywhere. You can use this camera for an overhead camera. Maybe you're looking down on a table and you need to adjust where that's focused, or the direction that it's facing. Or because it comes with a hinge system, you can turn this sideways, so you'd be able to adjust your eye kind of accordingly. This other mode here is called whiteboard mode. Now, I don't have a whiteboard here to demonstrate it with. I do upstairs, but not dragging this up there for you to see it. Basically, whiteboard mode, when you turn that on, it zooms in on the whiteboard and it attempts to keep that as clear as possible. So the idea is that the whiteboard isn't some board that's sitting in the background blurry. It's going to lock onto that and let people to see what you're scribbling on there. If you're a teacher and you're doing remote learning, it's a great way for you to be able to demonstrate on a whiteboard without it having turned into a mess. So it's nice that that's included. That does use a lot of the AI features to help keep things sharp. So, but it's a nice inclusion, and it's one that I've never seen on any other camera. So kudos to EMEET on that. That's a really cool feature. Speaking of AI, if you do use generative AI, which I do not encourage, dumbs you real fast, you can go in here and use their script generation system. Script generation will allow you to basically build out a script, and you're kind of feeding it, this is the type of content I'm creating, think for me. And basically you can kind of drop in here a basic storyboard. Idiot tries to use AI to write their work for them. And we'll make it a daily idiocy. Start composing. And it's going to attempt to use a number of large language models to generate a script. And you can see here there's a drop down. So Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, or Grok. And it will spit out the script based off of whichever one of those you pick. And it's going to give you a sort of play-by-play of what sort of script you're going to get and what sort of positions the camera needs to be in. It's kind of storyboarding it for you. Maybe this is useful to you. Maybe you create sort of outline with this. Maybe it's not, but it is included and it is free. So if you are the kind that wants to use generative AI, there's certainly an option for you to do exactly that. As I said, this isn't meant to replace our review of the EMEET PIXY. You can do that on our site, Gamingtrend.com. We have a couple of other videos where we shot a video at Summer Games Fest with 3 people. So you can see again what a completely unprepared video looks like. We literally set it on tripod, plugged it into a laptop, and hit record. So think of it as the worst case scenario, which is how I prefer to shoot for a review. I want you to see the worst possible case for a camera so you can decide whether or not that's a good starting point or if you want a cut above that. In this case, this camera does have a lot of really good features, and with some small adjustments, and even without the use of AI, it can be made to be a really great camera for replacing your laptop. And the fact that it's pan tilt zoom gives you a lot of flexibility to be able to move around and maybe showcase things that aren't necessarily head on. I'm Ron Burke, Editor-in-Chief for Gamingtrend.com. Thanks for watching. Head over and check out our review, and stay safe out there.